please. There you go.
Trent, obviously a high-level matchup between two good teams. What's your guys' takeaway of how to finish and close out a really good team like that?
Defensively, I thought, what we call winning time. At the end of the game, we didn't put kills together. We allowed, Matherin and Chris to, get going. They're guys. That's when, the head of the Snakes, we didn't do a really good job, defending them well. So we gave up easy buckets to them for down the stretch, and, that can't happen. So we just got to do a better job defensively on, getting stops and, turning those into baskets on the other end.
Well, Trent, this team really gets hot from three. Just how are you guys feeling on offense about the looks you're getting, and you three guys, especially you, Jake and Alfonso, being able to go off like that?
We shoot a lot of balls every day practice. That's our strength. We knew we're going to be a good 3-point shooting team this year. With having Kofi, him, being able to pass the ball out. We know they were going to double him, so he created opportunities for others. But like I said, we put a lot of balls up. Being able to be confident. Every time it's your time to shoot and knocking it down.
Trent, how do you explain that 11-0 stretch you had there? Is that the loudest you've ever heard State Farm Center?
For sure. I had goosebumps. It was a lot of people in there tonight. It felt great. Obviously, having Orange Crush in there, they had our back, for 40 minutes tonight. So I appreciate them. But this one stings. It's gonna hurt for a while, and we just got to do a better job, defensively closing out games.
Trent, you're never a player that lacks confidence, but a game like this where you really get going, you get on a heater, what does that do for you confidence-wise moving forward in the rest of the season?
I think it kind of, releases pressure, for my teammates. In the second half, they went to double me, so I didn't have those opportunities like I had in the first half. The floor opens up, for Jake, to knock some big-time shots down, continue to throw the ball into Kofi. They let Plummer, get going tonight. So I think, when I'm in my rhythm, I think it's just, opens up the floor for my teammates, to, create, opportunities for themselves or a teammate.
Trent, this is a really veteran team, and we've seen you guys play good defense for a lot of years here. What do you think is causing some of those late game defensive maybe lapses there that allowed them to close it out?
Can you say that again?
Yeah, well, what do you think is causing some of those lapses, late games, that allowed them to close that out?
Communication. I think we got to do a better job, like I said, late game, of communicating with each other. In transition, they really, picked on us, in transition. We knew it was going to be a track race. Chris did a really good job getting the ball out, pushing it, and just pitching it ahead. So I think right now it's just, lack of communication. I got to do a better job, being back first of, just communicating with my guys, getting them set and building our wall.
Is that lack of communication at all surprising, just given how long you guys have played together with one another?
No, not at all. I think, we're going to continue to get better in that area. Like I said, this is going to stay. We're going to continue to challenge ourselves to get better in those areas and, just, keep moving forward.
Scott here in the front. Scott right here.
I mean, they made a real emphasis to go at Kofi hard with their two bigs, and kind of had a rough night. How did you see him maybe handle maybe not being as efficient as he has been this season?
They had a lot of size out there. Try to make it challenging for him. Like I said, their whole game plan was, to double Kofi. So, they try to be physical with him, push him off the block, make it challenging for him to finish over length. But at the end, the second half, he had a good stretch for us, and he really helped us, down the stretch. Obviously, we didn't have that 20-point night, but that stretch that we had kept going to him was really, really big, and he continue to get better in those areas. So like I said, I'm always gonna have confidence in him, you know, to keep throwing that ball in there, whether he scores 0 or 20. So that's our whole mindset.
Couple more for Trent, go ahead, Rob.
You guys have kept Paul Schmidt pretty busy this season, and today during one timeout, he took Jake from a gaping head wound to back in the game without missing any time. So you want to talk about Jake's toughness and what Paul does for the team?
That's what this team's about. I mean, you know, Paul's always there. You know, guys are always in with him. You know, he's always getting guys right, making sure, you know, with injuries, it's all about, you know, being comfortable with something. So, like I said, you know, that's what this team about, toughness. And, you know, like I said, we just got to continue to get better and get more tougher. You know, I thought, and sometimes, you know, they were tougher than us. You know, they took our ball a few times. But, like I said, there's a lot of season left. And, you know, we can't let this one dwell. And we just got to continue to get better.
Last one for Trent, right on.
Trent, late in the first half and into the second half, you were put on Matherin for a good chunk there. What kind of difficulty is it to guard someone who's 6'6" and that athletic?
It's very challenging. You know, with his, like you said, his size, he's very strong. But I think the whole thing is, you know, you're not gonna stop him from, you know, making a shot, but just, you know, challenging, you know, making it difficult. And that's what I do. That's what I can do with my quickness. Obviously, he's stronger than me, so, you know, I try to beat him to spots, you know, where I can, you know, use and, you know, just, you know, try to make it difficult for him. So, like I said, you know, he's a good player, but yeah.
Thank you, Trent. Okay, we'll have a coach's statement, and then we'll open up for questions.
Big boy basketball game. That was really high level. Two really, really good basketball teams. Wouldn't be shocked at all if you don't see that one in late March. They're good. They're really good. Matherin's what they look like, folks. That's when you want to see a pro, that's what they look like. So all you wonderful evaluators out there of talent, that's what they look like, okay? It's a bad son of a gun. And really good player. I thought Kier was, excuse me, I thought Chris, Krisa, whatever you pronounce it, was instrumental in the second half. A couple things that were really disturbing. Our ball toughness was not good. And again, it leads to 5, 7, 9-0 runs for just taking our ball. Part of that, guys, is on me. We've got to practice. And November and December have always been grind it out, fight, compete, work, get tough. We haven't practiced, guys. And that sounds like an excuse. We haven't. We're running dummy offense, and we're not grinding these guys, and we're not getting them ball tough. Give Arizona all the credit in the world because they took advantage of that. But we got to learn to run offense better. And we've got a week. We got to work around finals, but we've got a week where we got to improve some things on that end of the court. Getting outscored 42-16 in the paint when you've got Kofi, that's problematic. The other thing, I think with our 4s and 5s tonight, I think we were 6 for 25, I was told, in the 2. Now, there's a reason they've got the #1 2-point field goal percentage defense in the country. Not many nights you see Kofi go 5 of 15, so give them credit. They made stops, got stops when they had to. We had a chance, and again, we just didn't execute. But there's a lot of things to grow on. You know, I think that our guys understand now what big boy basketball truly is because they're really good, and you know that we can go back. It's early December. We're still 2-0 in league, and we can figure out what we've got to continue to work on to get better. We're going to be a really good basketball team, but we've got to get better defensively. And our transition defense was horrific. And you had transition, points in the paint, and our ability to not get a stop late. Those are things we got to get dialed in on.
Okay, questions for Coach?
Coach, it looked like Kofi was laboring a little bit there in the second half. Does he have a lower body injury, or was he cramping up, or something like that?
Nothing.
Rob?
He's good.
Okay, go ahead.
You mentioned a week ago that your teams are not very good at the start of the season, and this might be the most useful game that you've had to show people. Or what are you going to do with the next week?
Yeah, around finals week, we're gonna grind, guys. We're gonna grind. We've got to get better, and then we've got to have 5-on-5, smash mouth, tough, consequence basketball, and that's the reality of it. I mean, there's got to be consequences for turning the ball over. There's got to be consequences for not executing, not catching the ball in your spot, and we haven't done that. And I'll quit saying it because it sounds like an excuse, and I'm the last damn excuse maker there is in the world. But they had a lot to do with that, so we got to do that.
Defensively, it seemed like whoever you put Trent on struggled, but whoever Trent wasn't guarding kind of went off. Whether it's Creasa in the second half when Alfonso was on, or even whatever. How do you make that adjustment?
Doesn't bode very well for next season, does it? Jeez. Yeah, he's elite. I've said it many times. He's the best defender in the country, and he gets no credit because he doesn't block shots. He doesn't come up with a ton of steals. Everybody else, he just makes their life a living nightmare. And we can't have him guard two guys. Somebody's got to step up to meet that challenge. I've got to help him get there. But to lose, we had 3 possessions. We got kind of control. We're going, and we lose Creasa twice in transition for threes, and then we lose Ben in one trip in transition for 3. And it's like Trent can't be everywhere. Other guys got to step up and start meeting that challenge on that end. And it's amazing. Yeah, he scores 29 or whatever he scored tonight to go along with that too. So we gotta get better. We gotta get tougher. Remember the other Brad, the other real bad matchup early was with Coleman, and he was minus 17 plus minus, and he's been better than that, and he's got to be better than that. But we'll get him there.
Brad, I was going to follow up with that. Obviously, Kofi 5-15 is not going to happen very often, but what can he learn from that, and what can Coleman learn from a tough matchup like tonight, especially going into league play?
That's what they look like. That's what it's about. I mean, we've got to do a better job of helping Kofi get it in positions that he can score. He doesn't see a lot of that type of length and athleticism. I mean, I think they went 3 or 4 times in a row where they just blocked it. And we got to help Kofi. Kofi's had a little bit of a bone bruise on his knee. We got to help him get back in better shape. But he's playing a lot of minutes, and he's playing physical, and we get Curbelo back. That helps our other bigs with lobs and ball screens, but we don't have him, and we may not have him for a while. So we'll figure, we got to figure that out, and we'll help Kofi in different ways. But running offense and catching the ball in spots where we can actually do something will help.
How do you describe how Granson has improved a lot? His three-point shot, his going to the basket, his defense, but improvement, how has he been able to improve as an athlete?
Oh, Fletch. That's all Adam Fletcher. In the weight room, strength, confidence comes from that. Plus, he's a really motivated worker. I mean, he puts a lot of time in. He had the opportunity this summer to gain confidence playing with the Finnish national team. And he's one of the more versatile guys in our league, and his ability to shoot it and put it on the floor have improved greatly. And it spends a lot of time with a lot of coaches in the gym working on that part of his game.
Derek? Coach, what did you see with that 5-second call on Alfonso? Were you hoping that Trent would come get the ball, or how was that supposed to play out?
No, we had to play. It's on me. That's all on me. He didn't know the rule. He didn't know the rule. He was unaware of the rule, and I'm not going to make an excuse. That's on me. That's a situation. He said he never knew that there was a closely guarded rule without the dribbling. That's on me. So I've got to explain that. He's been in a good spot. We're running to play with him, and he's letting everybody get set. And unfortunate incident.
Brad, when you look back at this, the frustration, is it gonna be them taking the ball? Is it gonna be defense? I mean, is there one thing that's really gonna maybe grind at you over the next 24 hours?
Put it in all caps, softness, soft. Have you guys ever known my teams to be that? And that I have a hard time with. When people are taking your ball and and we're not gritty enough to get a stop against a really good player when we need to, that's something I gotta get right. And I told our team that. And, you know, it's a long season, you know, but January 3rd is not that far away, or whenever we played Minnesota at Minnesota, who's beating the hell out of Michigan. So, on the road, so it's not that far away. And we gotta be tough enough to win those.
Yeah, Brad, to follow up with the toughness question, what kind of things can you do or who do you rely on to get that out of this team? I mean,
Practice.
DeMonte-
There's consequences. We gotta practice. It's not one individual, it's not one guy. Trent's tougher than heck. DeMonte's really tough. But you gotta have 5 other guys that are toughness, and you gotta demand, you know, that, you know, okay, we're working on offensive execution, and you gotta catch it in your spot. And we haven't consistently done that enough to be able to execute. We gotta get better at it.
You had 4 guys score a pretty fair number of points, but for that to be it, do you see that as an issue, or?
No, that won't be. We'll get guys right. That's unique circumstance of the game, but I think it also shows how good those 4 guys are.
You talked earlier about the problems offensively that you're having. How much of that is connected to the fact that you don't have Curbelo, and like how he was obviously going to be a huge part of what you're going to do offensively, and now you're changing your complete offense?
Let's see, some people had him as a first-team All-American. And you take that away from your team. And I think the one thing that and I've said it before, you know, we started to run offense with that in mind. And we started to build our team and put our pieces together around that. And then you have to stop. And Trent's been incredible, but he's been hurt. And, you know, so we played DeMonte there, we played Coleman there, we played mismatch. So everything we've done has been a little bit out of sync. Again, I'm not making an excuse, but he's a really good player. And I think everybody in here would admit that. And when you don't have him, that's a huge loss. Where we miss Andre Curbelo as much on the offensive end, we miss him probably equally as much on the defensive end, because he's an elite defensive rebounder and he's an elite on-ball defender. And, you know, you lose that player, you're losing, you know, a lot. And the sequence with which we started to put stuff in this summer was based around him. But no excuses, no excuses. We have to be ball tough. But with him, we do some things differently.
Coach, a pretty fast-paced game, and you had 3 guys go over at least 33 minutes on the court. Talk about the need to get more out of the bench. What do you got to do to get more from those guys?
Yeah, I mean, not playing Arizona every night would help. You know, those guys, but again, that's, you know, I love Luke Goody, I love RJ. I thought those guys could come in and give us minutes. And with length, I got to keep throwing those guys out there. Brandon Pajimski's had an incredible week of practice, his best week by far. And I got to start trusting those guys. And hopefully another week of practice. You know, and you know, before we get to January 3rd, I think those guys are going to be able to help us, and I feel comfortable with them. And today was a hard one because of the matchups.
I feel like it's been kind of a long first month to the season for you. Is there a level of mental fatigue just trying to wade through the ins and outs and who's here and who's not, and just trying to figure it out game by game?
I'm not soft. We'll be just fine. I got a few hours sleep last night. We're good. We'll be fine.
To follow up with the offensive question, how difficult is it, or how difficult do you think it's going to be when you're trying to get Curbelo back into the rotation because he's such a high usage player?
We'll worry about that when it happens. But I'm not, and I don't mean to be sarcasm. That's not. I just mean that, you know, it's when that happens, we'll start integrating that in. Right now, my focus can't be that, and you know, that's when it comes to practice, and we'll see what he's capable of, when he's capable of doing it.
Scott. I know you talked about Austin yesterday, but is he facing a longer absence?
Yeah, Austin's gonna be out for the rest of the year. Austin is good as a, athletic hernia that will require surgery. So that will put him out somewhere in the 10-week mold, I was told.
Brad, is the message for Coleman simple, or is it just kind of a little bit more complicated than just kind of, okay, you gotta play better?
It's not hard, is it? Play better. I think it's a challenge every night that guarding Keegan Murray was different than guarding 6'11", 240 tonight. And yet he's got to be able to adapt to that. The first play of the game, we told him they were going right at him. We told him they were going right at him. And he just kept giving away until they literally shot a layup. And there's got to be some resistance and some fight. And I don't worry about Coleman on the defensive end. I'm more concerned with him on the offensive end. And just his casualness there that we got to get out of it.
Anything else for Coach? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.